Hey, welcome back to Dad Space. It's Dave with you. A dad doing a podcast for dads. How meta. Nice to have you here. Welcome to the show. If your first time here through the doors, you are more than welcome. There's snacks over there at the table. Bob over there in the corner would love to meet you. Leave your business card on the desk. We'd love to do business with you. Dads, you're welcome to join us anytime. And if you've come to this meeting and you're like, I'm not even a dad, there's lots of room for you. There's room for everyone. Welcome to Dad Space. Glad to have you here. And today we're going to talk about something that we hear often said about people, but not often said to them. We've heard it said about them. It's about kindness and how, as dads, kindness can be our superhero. The gentle strength that men need as dads, how kindness signals safety and trust. Here on Dad Space. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for listening. I've heard people say this in the past. Oh, Stan, Bob, Eugene, such kind men. So kind, right? And it's generally said about people, not to people. So I want to say it to you that as dads, we need to embrace kindness in how we show up in this world. I know you're a big, tough guy. You drive a big pickup truck, all that stuff. But the kindness demonstrated from you in front of others, whether it's in front of your family, at work, in front of total strangers, the kindness that you demonstrate is something that brings people to you. It makes people feel safe around you as a dad, as a man. And I think that all of us need to lean in a little bit more to kind acts, being thoughtful of others, putting others first, all of that great stuff. I think that kindness is a superpower, and it really can help us as dads. So a few things. We're going to talk about kindness in action. We're going to talk about how it's your secret weapon and throw out some ways that you can be kind in little things, and you probably never even thought about it before, but we'll give you all of that and take all of this and kind of focus it in on fatherhood. So let's jump in and talk kindness. And you're so kind. You're here. Thank you for being kind and pressing play. And, oh, hey, and thank you for sharing this episode with somebody. That's really kind of you as well. See, you're going to hear the word kind often in this episode, and I appreciate you being here. So let's jump into the idea that kindness is a superpower for dads and men. Kindness is often underestimated in conversations around masculinity, but it is truly a superpower for dads and men, and in a world that sometimes equates strength with being stoic and no emotion on your face and just grunt, all that kind of stuff, or dominance. Kindness is kind of this quiet force that signals safety, that you're somebody who can be trusted, and that you have a level of emotional intelligence beyond the basics. All right? Because, hey, we all know people who operate on that level of just the basics. They don't ever want to improve. They never want to move up and level up and all of that stuff. They're comfortable where they are. You can pick them out. But you are somebody who wants to do better. You want to do better for your partner. You want to do better for your kids. You want to do better for your community. And most important, you want to do better for yourself. You want to be a better you. And I think kindness is the one thing that you and I can tap into to put us into a place where we will have a better impact on our community and the people around us, the people that we come into contact with all the time. It's not just about big, grand gestures. Often it's just the small everyday actions that we might be not paying attention to, or we allow them to slip by, or we just are completely unaware that this was an opportunity to demonstrate kindness and now it's gone. So how can we choose to be kind? I think that kindness is a real secret weapon. And I think we need to leverage this and use this in our everyday behavior. So there's several people that I follow on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, and they are actively pursuing kindness in everyday life, in everyday situations, whether it be buying food for somebody, using their credit card, debit card at the cash and paying for the person's groceries before they can do it, giving money to people, giving like sports tickets to sporting events to kids who can't afford to go, just doing things out of the kindness of their heart. I would say the majority of what I see online is people really trying to do something to help people. And I love that. I love that that's becoming more and more visible to us, that there are people in the world who are demonstrating kindness in random ways and just showing up and doing things for people that you're like, man, you know what? I could do that. There's one, for example, I saw, and one of the curators I watch, he will, as people are walking towards him on the sidewalk, he'll make some kind of kind comment about them, their clothes, their attitude, their confidence. He just calls out something nice about them. And the reaction from the person walking towards him in that moment is like, what, are you talking to me? About what? You can see they don't know what to do with the compliment because it's not something we normally would do, to call out something that makes people react in a way of being kind of overwhelmed that you even would take the moment to say something nice about them. So I like that as a example, because my default setting is head down, look at my feet, get through my day, and get back home. I'm not a very interactive person in real life. If you met me at a conference, you're going to have to talk to me first, because even though I do podcasting, my default setting is I'd much rather be somewhere else. And that's just who I am, and I'm trying to do better. Podcasting is helping, by the way. But in a public setting, it takes a little bit for me to interact the way I would maybe do so here on a podcast. So keeping in mind the creators that call out people and say nice, kind things to people and just random strangers, I was coming out of a store recently and I saw a gentleman older than me parking one of those Jeep pickup truck combos, these new ones. And it's really long. This vehicle is really, really long. And you can see he was struggling a little bit. He kind of got it parked a little way, partly into the spot, but it's really overhanging. And you could tell he was just not comfortable. You could tell this is a new vehicle for him, whether it's his or someone else's. But he got out of it. And it's a beautiful gray Jeep. Looks really nice, a nice color. And my default setting would be, go home, Dave. Don't bother. But in that moment, kind of channeling these influencers I'm watching on social media, I just said to him, because he looked back at the truck. That was another cue for me. He looked back at the truck, like admiringly, looking at it like, wow, I like my truck. And so I said, hey, I love your Jeep. I'm like, I love the color. That's beautiful. I'm like, he's like, yeah, it's really long and I'm having a hard time parking it, but I like it. And he looked at it again, like, yeah, I like this Jeep. I just said, man, you picked a great truck. This is beautiful. I said, I've always thought these were great, unique trucks. I just thought they're really cool. So good job. Nice color. That's a nice choice. And I just carried on. And I saw him go into the store and then look back out at me and the truck one more time. And I thought, will I ever see this man again? Most likely never. But in that moment, two random strangers had a conversation about something that we both liked. And he walked away going, like, somebody noticed me. Somebody noticed my truck. Somebody made a comment. And in that moment, I felt like he saw it differently and he maybe had a better day. Maybe. So kindness can be just simple little things that we do as we do our day. And if you're like me and you're like, well, that's not me, I could never do that. I'm challenging you to try, even if you do it once this week, to find something nice to say about someone you don't know in a public setting and do it with intent. Like, don't mumble, don't trip over your words. Plan it out and be kind to somebody. It could be very simple. Man, I love that shirt. That's so cool. Where'd you get that shirt? Anything like that. It's just it's different, right? It's different. Use an opportunity this week to say something kind to somebody that you don't know. And don't do it to check off a box of, well, I did it. Do it to see how you feel after the interaction. Because I felt great. To be honest, why don't I do this more often? Was my thing. And I came home and told my wife, I'm like, hey, I did something today. She's like, that's great. That's good. So be kind in public and don't let these opportunities go by. So this week, I want you to do something kind and say something kind to somebody and lean in on your kindness as a superpower for you. I think it's something that we need to try. So why is kindness such a great secret weapon that many of us as men don't lean into? Let's talk about that more. When I'm talking to guys about how we show up as men and what really sets us apart, I lean towards kindness as their secret weapon. It's something that we don't use often enough from my side of the mic. This is something that I'm kind of focused on for Dad Space, for me, and for the men that I'm in conversation with. It's great to have ambition. It's great to have a plan and resources and education, and all these things are really important. But there's something that's not always within our control, is how we demonstrate our kindness. It's always within our reach, and it's always a choice for us to be kind in a moment. And I think that our families, our partners, our kids, our community will notice how you and I treat others, especially those who can do nothing for you in return. There's always a transactional thing going on in our brains. Well, if I'm nice to this person, they're going to be nice to me, and then it's going to benefit me in the long term. So I'm only going to be kind to people who can pay it back. And that to me feels odd, because if we're doing mental math on an interaction of kindness so that we benefit as a result of us being kind, then we're going to be discounting people who can't be kind in return. And I think it opens up when we can get beyond the mental math and the transactional thing that we want to see as a result of being kind, remove that from the situation, opens a door for us to be kind in situations where, again, that we don't benefit directly from, and that's not our intention. That's not why we're doing it. We're being kind because we want to be kind. I think that's when people start to notice more that there's an inequality to what's happening here, and people are like, well, I can tell that this person's being kind to somebody, but they're not going to benefit from it. So that puts them almost in a different category. That you can tell they're not doing it for attention, they're not doing it for fame, none of those things. An example would be Robin Williams. Stories about when Robin would film movies on location, he would send out his team to go and hire people who were living on the street with no income to be in the movie so that he could pay them and give them money as just for their time to be part of whatever movie he was filming. So just random people walking down the street, whatever kind of people in the background. He would use people who were definitely in need. And it was just him being kind. There are stories of Prince, the artist, doing concerts at like children's hospitals with his whole band in a city. And he would have this rule, there'd be no publicity, no media. But he would go in and perform for kids in a children's hospital and put on like a set, like a real, not an acoustic guitar thing, but bring the whole band. And he would do stuff for these kids. Again, out of kindness, not to draw attention to himself, and nobody was allowed to talk about it. It was completely kind of under the table, beyond the cameras, kindness. And those people are often celebrated after they leave us, which is sad, because I'd much rather be able to celebrate them while they're still here with us. So for you, how can you demonstrate kindness without all the attention? I think it just shows up in how we live our life every day and the things that we do in front of others, whether we know them or not, whether we think I'm using air quotes here, whether we think they deserve it or not, whether or not they try hard enough or not, whether or not this is something that will help them or not. We can't put labels on our kindness. Kindness needs to be kindness for the sake of being kindness. Do you treat service staff with respect? So the person at the drive-thru, the person who brings your dinner to your table, the person who helps you, the service person that fixes your car, the person who changes your oil, the neighbor who does whatever. Like, how are you showing kindness to people who serve you as part of their job? You know they're doing this because they need a paycheck. But how do you treat them? Are you rude? Are you over-demanding? Are you dismissive? Right? All those things are the opposite of kindness. And you're doing this in front of your family to the person standing there. Demonstrate kindness in what we do. I think it's really, really important. So do you treat service staff with respect? Are you considerate to your own parents, your own community? Do you have good manners? Are you rude and abrupt? And, think about it. Are you demonstrating great manners in how you do your life? And do you show up for people without expecting anything back? These are powerful, powerful signals to the world. And they tell others, especially women in our life, who may be evaluating us as a partner or as a friend, that you are a safe place. You can be trusted. You demonstrate kindness because you're a kind person, not because you're trying to be kind. You are a kind person. And it just naturally flows out of you. When life gets tough or when someone is vulnerable, you will respond with compassion and support, not judgment or withdrawal. Your radar is always up looking for who you can help next. That's the superpower part of it. That's every superhero that you've ever fallen in love with, is the person who needs you the most. At that point in time, you just show up. And I think that's the biggest part of being kind, is just simply showing up and being available to people. So kindness in action, what can we do? Some simple things that you and I can do this week to demonstrate kindness to those around us, in our community, in our family, and to our partner. What can we do? How can we show kindness in action? Kindness is a practice. It's not a personality trait. It's in the little things that come across our path and how we respond. Saying please and thank you. I know, Dave, you're getting very, very simple here. Yes, but the simple things are often the most overlooked. Being polite, showing gratitude, using your manners, the thing you were taught when you were a kid. Use your manners. Remembering somebody's birthday. Following up with a friend who's struggling. Offering help without being asked for your help. Listening without interrupting. Guys, listening without interrupting. Apologizing when you're wrong. And listening not to respond, but to understand. So when your partner, when she's talking to you and you're listening to her talk about her day, and this person didn't do this and this person didn't do that, and we're struggling over here. So are you listening to solve the problem for your partner, or are you listening to hear your partner? It's a struggle for me. I've always been, because I feel like I'm a fixer. I feel like I'm like, oh, just do the thing. And my brain works in the future. So I'm always like, oh, if he did this way, it probably would have worked out different. And my wife will look at me like, how do you do that? Like, how do you know? Like, you don't even have time to prepare an answer. It's just like, there it is. That can be a good thing, and that could also be a not so good thing. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's a simple answer. Just do this. I haven't even heard my wife fully complete her thought. and I'm already in the fixing mode. I'm already in the, well, here's a solution. And she's not looking for solutions. She's looking for me just to listen to her, unpack in her own way what she's experienced, and be kind. I'm not there to answer every thought. I'm there to listen and provide a safe place for my wife. So be kind. So if you're like me and you're quick to jump to an answer and a solution midway through your partner telling you something, then maybe you should just be quiet. It really helps to listen, to understand, not to solve. I think that's something we can do. Just demonstrate kindness that way. Something you can do today. Kind actions don't just make you a better person. They make you a better human being to all of those around you, not just as a partner or as a father, to everyone. They create this ripple effect, which I love the idea of a ripple effect, that encourages others to be kind and making the world a safer, more supportive place. So what do we do as dads? How do we demonstrate kindness as a dad? Well, let's jump into that too. I think for dads, our kindness is a key element of our legacy. What people will remember about you long after you're gone is your kindness. Your children watch how you treat their mother, your partner. They also watch how you treat their teachers. They like to watch how you treat strangers you don't know, and even how kind you are to yourself. That's the one I think a lot of guys struggle with. When we can maybe be kind to others, but we're very hard on ourselves. And had we come across somebody who talks to others the way that we talk to ourselves, we would interfere, we would interject, we would intervene and stop that from happening. But we don't do it when we talk to ourselves. We allow ourselves to be quite harsh towards ourselves and say things about our own life that we would never stand for, hearing it in public with somebody saying it about somebody else. We need to be kind to ourselves. Our family learns from our example that kindness is not weakness. Kindness is strength. Being a kind dad means raising kids who feel safe, who feel valued and empowered to show kindness themselves. They become a photocopy, carbon copy, a duplicate of you and how they show up in the world because you modeled kindness the right way. And I think that as dads, we are the example of kindness in our home. And it is a huge portion of our legacy and how we will be remembered, is how kind we were to people. Again, to people who don't even, again, air quotes, deserve kindness in the moment, we were kind. People will remember that. Kindness is also the foundation of real connection. When you lead with kindness, you invite more authentic connections with people. You show the world that you are approachable. You're trustworthy. And in relationships, kindness lays the foundation and groundwork for intimacy with your partner, resilience, mutual respect, deeper connections. It's the quality people remember long after they're forgotten. What you've said, they remember, again, how you made them feel. And kindness is the key foundation of that. So my challenge for you as dads, as we talk kindness, is to understand that kindness is your superpower. It is that secret weapon for dads and for men. It is that gentle strength. It is how kindness signals safety and trust. It is the thing that brings people to you and makes people feel safe. It's not always about being tough as a dad. And I think that the legacy piece is important and that kindness will help you to be a better dad. It's not about the big, huge things that we do. It's in the little things on a consistent basis, demonstrated over a long period of time, that have the most relevance and help people to connect with you most. Be that safe harbor for your kids and for your family, for your partner. You need to be a safe place. And by demonstrating kindness, you create the atmosphere where people are drawn to you, because you're not there doing the mental math that I will be kind to this person as long as I receive back equal amounts of kindness or benefit or more. I need to benefit. If I'm going to demonstrate kindness, there has to be return benefit to me. When you're sitting there in the moment doing mental math, you are now trapped in a world where kindness is an option. I'm saying to you as a dad, make kindness a priority, not an option. And find one person this week. I don't think that's overwhelming. Find one person this week that you can be kind to. A simple comment about a guy's new truck and picking up on how proud he is that he has this new vehicle. He's probably worked really hard for that. Pick up on that. Pick up on somebody who you just see there's something great that you want to bring out. When you see greatness in something or someone, call it out and make that your priority. As you get your keys and your wallet, your phone, and you head out to the car to go to work, be intentional. Today, I'm going to look for an opportunity to demonstrate kindness. It could simply be letting somebody into your lane where normally you'd be like, no, right? Just be kind. And don't be counting the costs and don't be counting the return. Just be kind. It's our superpower. And I do think it's going to draw more and more people to you. So whether you're an introvert like me, and this is a big ask, or you're an extrovert and you light up when you meet people, kindness is something that all of us can demonstrate this week. And I'd love to hear what you did and how it turned out. Leave me a message at dadspace.ca and how kindness showed up this week and the opportunity that you took advantage of and what was the result. I'd love to hear your voice and hear your thoughts over at dadspace.ca. Be kind. It's very important. Hey, thanks for listening to Dad Space. Thanks for hanging out to the end of the podcast. That's a great sign to wherever you're listening to this podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, fill in the blank, that this was a good podcast to send people to. So simply by listening to this point of the podcast, you're helping the show grow. So good on you. Thanks for helping us grow Dad Space. If you want to help us fill our cups over at Dad Space, head over to dadspace.ca. Dadspace.ca, simple website, right? Dadspace.ca. You can fill up our coffee cup, which helps us then to keep moving forward with the podcast and use our Buy Me a Coffee link over at dadspace.ca. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for coming back. And thank you for sharing, because the more dads we can help, the better. We're all here to help each other grow in community. That's what it's all about. And without you, podcast is pointless. There's no reason to do any of this. So you being here means everything. See you at dadspace.ca. Take care.